Have you ever watched a booktuber talk ad nauseum about an arc that they just got that doesn't release for several months later and wondered how you can get your hands on arcs as well? Well, this is what this video is for. I'm going to be telling you my steps and guidelines towards how you can also start to get arcs from authors and publishers. So, hi, hello everyone. My name is Shelby. Welcome to A Little Literary Love. I am a romance reader and we're going to be talking about arcs. And this is a guide that I really wish was available when I was starting my arc reading journey. I know there's lots of videos out there that do talk about how to get arcs, but most of the videos that I was able to find when I was starting my journey was pertaining more towards physical arcs and for traditionally published books. I read more indie published, so this is what this guide is going to be more for, is more specifically for eARCs. And again, I am a romance reader, so I will have some PR companies linked down below in the description box that you can check out if you want to follow them to find out, try to get some arcs from those companies. They will all be pretty exclusively romance PR companies, so just kind of keep that in mind. Also, my way of getting arcs is not the only way. There's so many different avenues that you can go in regards to trying to obtain arcs. Again, this is more for eARCs. There's also different ways that you can get physical arcs. I know of some ways of getting those, so I will briefly touch on some of those. But again, this is more from, at least for the physical arcs, that'll be more from me hearing about other people talking about this is what they've done, but I have not personally done that myself. There's also ALCs, which is advanced listening copies. So these are for audiobooks that come out before release. And yeah, so to start off, if you're not sure what an ARC is an advanced reader's copy. Basically, this is an advanced copy of a book that is sent out to readers just to kind of help garner hype for the book and help with early release hype. Basically, they're wanting to get first day or like first week sales boost, or even like a pre-order boost, because this helps with publishers and authors to get on different reading lists like the New York Times list, best-selling lists. It also helps boost with sales for Amazon if their book is higher in sales for pre-orders or higher in sales on release day. They'll start to get some of those little banners on Amazon, and that promotes Amazon, or at least that tells Amazon to promote their books more. So early sales is key. So that's why authors and publishers like to do ARCs, is to get word out and help raise hype for the book and get early reviews out and get people talking about the book before it's even released. So that makes people want to buy it more when it is released. So it's a really fun thing to do to get ARCs. It's especially fun to help with authors and helping out those books, especially, like I said, I am a big fan of indie authors. I like to support indie. So this is a great way to help with that. So there's a few different steps. Number one, the first step is key towards any avenue that you're going to go as far as wanting to obtain ARCs. The rest of these, you can kind of go in different ways. You don't necessarily have to do all of these steps, but I do feel like it definitely helps. So first step, and this is going to seem pretty obvious, is you have to read books and you have to review books. You can review them any way you want. You can, the big two book review sites that I know of is Goodreads and Storygraph. So if you have a profile on both of these pages, you can kind of use those to keep track of your books, but you need to start reviewing the books that you read. Now, when I was first starting out, I knew I wanted to eventually obtain ARCs, and I wasn't sure how to necessarily fashion review. I just got in the habit of, after I read a book and I gave it a star rating, I would, at the very bare minimum, for every single book that I read, I wanted to write at least a 1-sentence review for it. And then the more that I got used to that, just to kind of help myself get in the habit of writing reviews for books, the more that I got used to that, then I would start writing a little bit more. Or if a book, I had really strong feelings about a certain book, then I might start writing like a paragraph for that. And I usually kept it pretty simple, nothing too extravagant. I know on Goodreads, I've seen several reviews where people will put in different pictures and GIFs, and they make this really eloquent way of writing their reviews. That is not me. That is not something that is necessary. If you like to put a little bit more pizzazz in your reviews, go for it. I know PR companies and authors seem to really like those, but that is definitely not something that is necessary. Just do what feels best for you. If you want to keep it pretty simple, you can do that as well. Most of the time, I feel like PR companies and authors, they're looking for more than a sentence for your reviews. They are looking for at least a paragraph. But again, you can keep that pretty simple too. Most of the time, like the format that I end up following is to write just one sentence that's a very brief summarization of what the book is about. And then I go into what I liked about the book. I adored this because of this. Or I really gravitated to this character because of this. If there's anything that I didn't care for the book, or I thought that a book could have done a little bit better, then I might go after that, go into like a sentence or two about that. This book was just very lengthy. Or I didn't care for this because of this. And then at the very end, you just kind of summarize your overall thoughts on it. Overall, I really enjoyed this one. I want to read the next book in the series. Or I really enjoy this one. I really hope to read more books from this author, or something along those lines. Just keep it really simple. And then again, if you start to get better at that and feel better about your writing skills, want to add a little bit more to your reviews, then you can do that as well. But just starting out, every book that you read, you want to post some type of review for it. Again, the Goodreads and Storygraph is great places to start for those. You can, if you already have started to buy books from different retailers like Amazon, after you've bought a book, if you've read it, you can start putting reviews on there as well. That also helps with your chances of getting ARCs. So that is the number one thing that you must do. You have to already have reviews, because that is something that these different companies are going to look at to make sure that you are actually reading these books and reviewing it and putting your thoughts out there and saying if you like these books or not. Step 2, and again, this is a step that you don't necessarily have to do, but I do think it helps your chances, especially when it comes to indie books and eARCs, is creating your own social media account. Most of the time when I am filling out forms, signing up and requesting ARCs, they're going to ask, what is your social media handle? Some of them even ask, what is your follower account? Because they are looking for not only to say that you reviewed it, but they're wanting you to have some sort of community that you're recommending this book to, because they're wanting to get this book out by more word of mouth. So if you have a bigger following, the more likely you are to get more ARCs. That is not always the case. Several of the PR companies that I have used in the past do not ask for a follower account, but they do still want you to put your social media and link that on your form that you're filling out so that they can check your social media out. And part of that too is just to make sure that you're not, doing anything ethically out of bounds that they would disagree with, and that you are who you say you are, that you're actually promoting books and you're hyping them up on those social medias. So the big two that I see used most often is for Instagram and TikTok. I think those are the two that are the easiest to start accounts on, start to gather a following, and you can do really easy things on both of those as well. You don't even have to do ones that show your face. Those are the ones that do show their face and pictures of themselves are the ones that usually gain more followers more quickly. But again, that was definitely not necessary. You can do just images of books, more aesthetic kind of things, images of like your bookshelves or outside. And it's just, you're and showing pictures of books and promoting them. Not necessary, but does help for a lot of different companies if you're wanting to get ARCs from them. And then your different avenues for getting eARCs. And there are several different avenues that you can go. There is no right or wrong way to do this. The first avenue that you can go, and this is the avenue that you don't necessarily have to have a social media account to go this way to get eARCs, and that is going to be from Netgalley. This one is going to be more so if you're wanting traditionally published books. This is a site that any type of genre that you can imagine of books is going to be on the site. So you do not necessarily have to be a romance reader. You can be a fantasy reader. Nonfiction is also on here. YA, kids books, anything of the like is on here. You can create an account on here. They do have a stipulation that you have to have a certain feedback ratio, and that helps with you getting approval for ARCs. Like right now, I'm sitting at a 50% feedback ratio, which I need to work on because I have 3 ARCs from them sitting in my library that I have not read yet that I need to review and post a review on the Netgalley site. They usually want your feedback ratio, I think, to be around, it's either 70 or 80%. And then you're more likely, the higher your feedback ratio is, the more likely you are to get accepted by different publishing companies to send you eARCs. You can also get ALCs on this site. So the best way that I know of to kind of start being able to have some sort of a feedback ratio, because if you start requesting things that are like Elsie Silver or these like really big names, Sarah Kate, Katie Roberts, if you start requesting those, there's lots of people that are also requesting ARCs of those, and they only give those out to a select amount of people. So there is one feature on Netgalley, which is the read now or listen now feature, and they will have just random various books and eARCs that are up on there that you do not have to have a certain feedback ratio for. This is the best way to go about if you're just starting on Netgalley. I have gotten a few different books from the Read Now section, and then I've read them and reviewed them and put them in Netgalley, and that has boosted my feedback ratio. So then I was actually able to, if I requested an ARC, I have actually gotten some requests back that I wanted. I have not gotten everything that I wanted, but again, it's because a lot of times they're requesting things that are super duper popular, and I just obviously my feedback ratio is not the best right now. So this is an avenue that you can go that you do not have to have a social media account to start getting eARCs or ALCs from to get this. They do have a place on their profile that you can link your various social medias on there if you want to. I have no clue if this boosts your chances of getting an ARC from them or not, and I think it really depends on the publisher as well. They have a vast amount of different publishers on here. I have also favorited certain publishers, so like Casablanca is one. Bloom Books does a lot of different romance books. That's another publisher that I have favorited on there. So then you can go to those favorites. You don't have to just do a random search to find what is new ARCs that are going to be coming out. This is a great way, a beginner way, I feel like, to start getting ARCs. Your next avenue for getting eARCs is through different PR companies. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I will have some different PR companies linked down in the description box, so you can look for those. Those you're going to find by having a social media handle. This is how me having a social media, I have a YouTube, and then I started an Instagram account, and I also have a TikTok account now. By being on there and engaging with different members of the community, that's how I found out about all these different PR companies. And that's actually how I found out how to get ARCs, is because I would see posts from people about new books that are coming out, and they would say, thank you to this PR company for the eARCs. So then I would go to that PR company's page, I would follow them, and then they will have different posts about, hey, here's some new ARCs that are coming out that you can sign up for. Best way of finding out about new eARCs. And then also just from like talking to different people in the community, and I started asking questions about, hey, how did you start getting these ARCs? And then I got my questions answered. So again, that's why I'm creating this video, so that this information is out there for you if you want to start, like Valentine PR, Good Girls PR Company. Again, I'll have a lot of them linked down below. Luna Literary Agency is another one. I think there's one, Ray something. There's a ton. Smut Hood, that's another one of different PR agencies, and they post constantly about new ARCs that are coming out, what they have that you can sign up for, and they'll have links to their websites and show you how to do it. So that's a great opportunity, great way to find out about ARCs that are coming out and get some eARCs from those different companies. Now, all of these different companies have different rules and stipulations that you have to follow in order to get ARCs from them. And they will always have these different rules either on their website or in the form that you fill out to sign up for the ARCs. They'll have at the bottom, you can't, like piracy is a big one. You can't pirate these. Some of them have stipulations that you have to post about this book on your biggest social media following by this certain date. Some of them will have a rating guideline. Some of them don't have any rating. You can rate whatever you want and it's no problem. Some of them will say if you rate 3 stars or below, to not even post about the book. Or to withhold your review on Goodreads until a week after release. It's all over the place, and there's so many different rules. It really just depends on the company. And then the other way to get eARCs is going to be through authors themselves. Some authors do not use PR companies to promote their books. Some authors just do it themselves, or some authors will partner with their PR companies. And that's another way to find out about ARCs. Is I follow a lot of different authors on social media, and that's how I find out about all these different new releases, because they will be posting about them and trying to promote those books before they come out. A lot of times they will also say, hey, if you want an ARC of this, head over to this PR company. Sometimes they will do giveaways for ARCs, or sometimes they'll just have, hey, I've got my own content team that you can try to sign up for. And if you get on my content team, then you will get ARCs. I know Sarah Kate has a content team that if you get onto her team, then you can get ARCs. I specifically am on the Sarah Simone influencer team. So because I am part of that team, I get ARCs of her books, which I'm actually really excited about, because now that she's traditionally published, it's really, really hard to get ARCs of her books. I've tried on Netgalley in the past, and it just hasn't happened. So now that I'm on her influencer team, I get dibs on getting ARCs. So I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, sometimes they'll also just do like randomly, hey, I need some people to be on my ARC team, because they don't have enough. So you can sign up that way. I've also had authors reach out to me and message me directly like, hey, I see you post a lot of these type of books. I think you might really like my book that's coming out. Would you be willing to ARC read for me? So that's another great way of getting ARCs for those books. So that's how you can get ARCs. Again, there's lots of different stipulations depending on where you're getting your ARC from. For all of these, you have to review the book. Now, you can, like, if you don't like the book and you end up DNFing that is okay. But most of the time when that has happened, I just message whoever I got the ARC from and just say, hey, this wasn't for me. I'm choosing to DNF it. And most of the time they're totally okay with that. I have done that for certain companies, and I've still been able to get ARCs, like future ARCs from them for different authors, and it hasn't been an issue whatsoever. But again, you have to communicate that with them, because if you don't, then you're at risk of not getting ARCs from them in the future. Same with most of these places. They do want you to fill out a form after you've read the book and reviewed it, just to kind of prove that you did post where they requested you to post at. They'll usually request a link to your review, depending on if they are requesting just on a random review site or if they're actually asking for a review on retail sites as well. So like me specifically, for certain places, I will have a review on Goodreads. I will have a review on Amazon. There are stipulations. If you do post reviews on Amazon, you cannot post reviews until after the book releases. And I do think there are some things that Amazon will do to kind of like catch you in like a lie, or they're trying to detect a lie. I try, if I can, to only review on Amazon if it is for a Kindle Unlimited book. That way, when the day that it publishes, I can check the book out on Kindle Unlimited just to kind of prove that, hey, I got this, and then I will post a review for it. Because there are some times where I've seen people that have gotten kicked out of Amazon and they are no longer able to review for Amazon because Amazon sucks. But if that happens and the book is also happens to be on like Barnes & Noble or any like Kobo, Apple, any other type of retail site, you can also do that. So again, so you have your Goodreads review link posted. I have to have Amazon, like a retail site, my review for that linked. And then I might also have a social media review link posted as well. So I've read the book and I've posted it on my Instagram page, and then I will do a link to that. So it's a lot of information that you have to keep up with. So I also have a guideline, my tips for how to keep track of all of this, because you'll have a lot of information that you have to have available to put on these forms for requesting these ARCs. And then you'll need this different information for when you finish the book. And there's your separate form that you fill out for when you have finished that book, to prove to the PR company or whatever that you read it and that you've done all of the requirements that they requested. So my biggest tip, I do everything on my phone. I know not everybody likes to do that. It's just something that's really easy for me to pull up my phone. I have a notes tab, and this is what I would recommend doing as well, is keeping a notes tab, or if you don't like using your phone, you get out your laptop, your computer, have a specific saved document on there that has different things on it that you're going to need for those forms. That way you can just copy and paste that information into the forms. You don't have to continue to keep looking these things up. So you will need your name. You will need an email that is working. Most of the time, this is going to be how you find out if you got approved for the ARC. And this is a lot of times where they will send the ARC to. They'll usually send it to your email and then in a book funnel format. So book funnel is another thing that you might. It's helpful if you have this. It is not completely necessary, but it is helpful if you have the book funnel app. That's where most authors and publishers will utilize this app, this website, to send these eARCs to. And then from there, you can send that to whatever type of source you want to read from. Like I have a Kindle app on my phone. This is just the easiest format for me to read from. You can also send it to your Apple Books, account. I don't know if there's like a Google, like for Samsung phone users, if there's like a Google, I don't know if it's Google Play or some sort of reader for Google that you can use. There's so many out there, but that from Book Funnel, that's how you can send it to your reader device, and that's how you're going to read it. Anyway, so you'll need your email. You will need your links to everything. So links to your Goodreads profile, links to your Amazon review profile, links to your Instagram profile, your TikTok profile. If you're a booktuber like me, to your YouTube account. You will need all those links on there as well. And then sometimes I will have PR companies or authors that they want to just be able to send the ARC directly to you and not have to use a separate company like BookFunnel to get the ARC to you. So some of them will ask for your Kindle email, and there's an easy way to find this out, and I will have that beside me on how you can find your Kindle email so that you have the link to that and you can put that in your request, your form that you're filling out for requesting all these ARCs. It seems like a complicated process, but I promise you it is actually a very easy process. And once you start doing all of these steps, I guarantee you will start getting those ARCs coming to you. It's so nerve-wracking starting out if you don't know what you're doing. Again, how I started my journey with this is a lot of trial and error and just being a fly on the wall within the bookish community on social media is how I found out, asking questions. And again, this is the way that I know of. I know if you're wanting like physical ARCs of books, there's a totally different scenario that you can do for that. I've heard of people that will just email different publishers just asking for ARCs. I know different publishing companies will have like teams that you can sign up for, that if you're on this specific team, then you will just automatically start getting ARCs of different books that they're publishing for the year. I don't necessarily like physical ARCs because I only have so much shelf space. And then my fear is if I don't like it, then what am I going to do with it? Because usually selling, like a lot of times you're not supposed to sell ARCs since it is an advanced copy. I think there's a lot of different legalities with that. So then I'm just like, what am I going to do with it if I don't like the actual ARCs? So I tend to only stick to eARCs. I might potentially start doing ALCs at some point, but I haven't yet. Mostly because I haven't started writing reviews on different like audio companies. I think for ALCs, a lot of times you have to start doing reviews for audiobooks specifically, like on Audible or some of those other apps that you can use to listen to audiobooks. So I have not done those. So if that's something that you're interested in, maybe do a Google search and try to find some other videos that talk about that. I think I've went over everything. If you have questions for me, make sure to leave them down below. I will answer to the best of my ability. And if I don't know, I will let you know that I just don't know because I don't know all. But I hope you all find this helpful, and I hope you're able to start your own ARC journey like I was. And I hope you stick around for more videos from me. Like I said, I'm a romance reader. That's what we talk about here. Lots of indie romances, lots of spicy good times. I post videos every Thursday and Sunday. And I'm glad hope you all enjoyed this video. But that is going to be it. And I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.